Hello everyone, welcome back to the Life's Good and welcome back to the pub under the stairs. It's midweek and I did say that I'd be putting a few midweek videos on that are not garden related and try and keep the garden stuff at the weekend. And I was just looking in here, I've got a few things to do in the pub under the stairs. I've been caught out a little bit because of family matters and work commitments and all manner of other things, and I really need to get some beer into barrels, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I've got a bucket of Cerveza that desperately needs to go into a keg, and we will go over into the corner of the kitchen in a moment and I'll show you how I go about doing that. In the meantime, I've just been consulting my little book of beer, and on one of the early pages in here, it says that you should enjoy as many different beers of the world as you can. And indeed, if you are in a particular area, try and drink the local beer. Well, you can't get much more local than the pub under the stairs. It's brewed in the kitchen, it's served in this pub, and I sit here and drink it. It travels all of 5 feet. So that's local as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Great little book. It was a gift from a member of the family. I'm not entirely certain now. I think it was my stepdaughter Heather actually gave me this one. It's a cracking little book, lots of information in here and a few wit and wisdom moments as well. On to today. I need to get the Cerveza into a barrel. I've got this one. Oh, hang on, I'll turn around. This one. This is on my right. Your left. This is my King keg, and that is the brand name, a King keg. It's got the bottom tap, standard tap, 4-inch cap with a brass valve on the top which releases pressure if the pressure gets too high. This is the keg I'm going to be decanting the Cerveza beer into. I've already lifted the Cerveza up onto the worktop. What I'll do is I'll bring all this out and show you a bit more about the keg and how I stand the keg, and show you how I decant the beer from the bucket into the keg. So bear with me, I'll reorganise and speak to you in a minute. Right, let's show you this. This is the keg. This will easily hold your 23 litres or 40 pints of beer, cider, whatever you've brewed. It's got the wider lid on the top. It's a screw-on lid. If I take that off and bring it up to show you, it's got this brass valve fitting, and it's got a little sort of rubber seal on the inside. And what happens with that, that will actually release pressure if the pressure inside that keg gets too much. And that is a safety measure to avoid an explosion. Now, you don't want 40 litres of beer exploding in your pub. Not a good idea. So this is a safety feature. There's a rubber seal on this side, there's a small one on the inside, and that is a safety feature to release pressure as it's created inside the keg. Very important. 4-inch wide lid. I think it's 4, might be 4.5, but it's a good size lid. The 4-inch, as I call it, allows you to get your hand inside your keg for maintenance. You can give the inside of the keg a good scrub and access the retaining nut at the back of the tap. The tap is inserted from the front of the keg. It's got a rubber seal. It protrudes onto the inside, and there is a nut that screws on the inside. You want to be able to do that up tight to keep it sealed. So the 4-inch hole allows you to get your hand in. You can get much cheaper kegs, and they do have a 2 or 2.5-inch cap. You cannot get your hand in unless you are particularly small, or a child maybe, but then you probably wouldn't reach the bottom. You need brushes and all manner of things to clean the inside of your keg. This is much more convenient, much easier, much more suitable. The tap on the bottom, I don't know if you can see it very well, just a standard swivel tap. I may have shown you these before. This is coloured black. It's like a nylon plastic, and you turn it around for on and back for off. You do have an element of control here, so partially on, the beer flows slower until you get a full flow with the tap right round. To be perfectly honest, I rarely turn the tap all the way round because there's quite a bit of pressure in these, and the minute you get a gap, the beer starts pouring out, and you don't want it gushing out, frothing everywhere and blasting all over the room and goodness knows what else. So be cautious when you release the tap to let the beer out. We'll come to that later on when we come to first decant beer in a week or so's time. So standard plastic tap on this one. Now I want to touch on the position that I put my kegs in. You may have noticed on the shelf in the pub under the stairs, I've got some little wooden platforms that the kegs sit on. I was looking at situations, what I found was when you get to the last amount of beer in your keg, the last drops in the bottom, a couple of pints, 3 pints, maybe 4 pints left in the bottom, they're sitting below the level of the tap exit hole. So in order to get those to come out of the tap, we tend to tip the keg forward. So you rock it forward until the beer's sitting over the tap and it can pour into your glass. Well, straight away you can see a problem. You're holding the keg with one hand, you've got your glass in the other. How on earth do you control the tap? You can turn it on, hope for the best, and maybe rock the barrel back to stop it flowing, but then you've disturbed everything in the bottom of the keg. It's an almighty mess, and you've wasted the last 3 or 4 pints of beer. I kept looking at that situation. I kept thinking, well, what on earth am I to do? And then I was looking at pubs, and they have a sort of automatic stillage. It's a spring-loaded base on which they stand the barrels of beer. And as the beer is decanted and sold, the barrel becomes lighter, and the springs gently lift the barrel and keep the beer over the exit point. So I started thinking, how could I come up with something whereby I can tilt the barrel without using my hands and keep the beer over the exit point of the tap? And I came up with this. This is what I use for my kegs. It's just a couple of bits of timber, in this case some plywood, 18mm ply I think I've got there, some 18mm ply, a little bit of timber batten. And all I've done is put the batten underneath one side of the plywood so that it sits at an, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it sits at an angle with the keg on. Now I'll just lift you down closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, this is the little platform I created. Strip of timber across the back which creates a sloping surface. I put the keg on the top of that, moved it to the forward position in order that the tap would be hanging over the void. You can get your pint glass under, that's the idea. And I use these 2 strips of wood to stop the keg from actually sliding off of this little base unit. So the effect created is that the keg will sit in there, it will not slide any more forward than these little slats, and the tap protrudes far enough forward that you can get your beer glass under there and use it quite easily. And the reason for that is, as I said, that when you've got the last few pints in the keg, it all empties through the tap until you end up with the last bit left in the bottom of the keg. And the bit that's left in there is usually full of sediment and other bits and pieces, and it's not very nice for drinking, so you don't want that in your glass anyway. But it stops all that fiddling around, tilting the keg, trying to get the last drops out without disturbing the base or the sediment. So I find this a very convenient way. I set the kegs on these from day one. I fill the keg, stand it on this, on the shelf in the pub under the stairs, and just leave it until it's ready to drink. And you just put your glass under, turn the tap, and you keep doing that until you're at the very, very bottom, and what's left in there isn't worth having, and you're only wasting about a pint to a pint and a half of sediment and crud from the bottom of the keg. My keg is clean. I have rinsed it, washed it and sterilised it using the brewing steriliser products. So I know this is clean and sterile, and I want to put the beer from the bucket into here. Now what we need to do is to prime it with a little more sugar. And I'm using the brewing and wine making sugar, remember, not household sugar. And you want about 85 grams or 3 ounces of that brewing sugar, and pop that in your keg. Now this actually creates what we call secondary fermentation. The beer has already been working in the bucket. It's stopped working. It's not creating any more CO2. It's not bubbling and fizzing away. When you put that into here, we add a bit more sugar. The yeast eats the sugar, creates more CO2 and a bit more alcohol. And it creates pressure. In the bucket, that pressure has been released through the bubble valve. The keg is sealed. That pressure is not released, hence the safety valve. And what happens is the CO2 is forced into the liquid, is forced into the beer, which is why when you open the tap and let the liquid out, the CO2 tries to escape, which is what causes all the frothing and bubbling and fizzing. Chemistry. According to chemistry, apparently alcohol is a solution. Worth noting. We digress. So 3 ounces or 85 grams brewing sugar in the keg. I'm now going to stand the keg on the floor directly below this bucket of beer. And we will start siphoning in a moment. And I have my siphoning kit ready. It's clean and sterile. My siphon wand with siphon trap attached, and the flexible hose, and I have that little clip that goes on the side of the bucket to keep all this stable and in place while I'm siphoning. In addition, some of the more expensive beer kits require you to add extra ingredients, i.e. hops and other bits and pieces, and that puts lots of little bits and bobs inside the liquid that you don't want in your keg. And they supply you with one of these little sort of muslin socks, as I call it. It's a sock or a little bag that you can actually tie on the bottom of your siphon wand. As I said, they come with the more expensive kits with all the extra bits and pieces. But what I found is I like to use this on the bottom of my siphon wand with all of my brew kits now, because if there are any little bits and pieces sitting in the bottom of the bucket that you don't want in your barrel, this stops those from going in. And it doesn't affect the siphoning. You do get a nice clean beer in your keg. So a little siphon sock, as I call it, added to the bottom of the siphon wand is perfect for that little bit extra filtration, if you like. So your siphon wand, siphon sock, and your siphon hose and the clip, and we're ready to go. So let's have a look and see what's going on here. This is the bubble valve. We don't need that anymore, so I can pull that out. Incidentally, if we look at that, the levels are equal. The beer had stopped working, no more pressure on either side, so it's all evened out. So that is a good indicator that the beer is ready to go in the keg. My little crude label, just to let me know, Cerveza. Some of the kits are in boxes, and what I do is I cut the side of the box off and keep it as a label for my beer. But in this case, it was in a tin, so I've just written Cerveza on there. And we'll open the bucket now and get it off. There we go. the lid's removed, and this is what we see inside. It's actually looking fairly clear already, I can see that. Just a few bubbles on the surface, and you will get a sort of a scum ring, if you like to call it that, around the outside. Bits of yeast and gunk stuck to the side of the bucket there. You don't really want to disturb that and get that in here and ultimately get it in your keg. But that's one of the reasons why I use that siphon sock. So what I do with the little clip arrangement is at the front of the bucket here, you pop this clip on. And that now holds the siphon arrangement. So if I now, the siphon wand I'm putting down inside with the siphon sock on, down inside the bucket, right to the bottom, and then press the hose against that clip there. And that is now in place, and the other end of the hose I can pop into the top of the keg. The siphon kit's all in place, the keg's on the floor, 3 ounces of sugar, and now the fun part. You suck on the end of the tube, you start the beer flowing and allow it all to decant into the keg. Oh, a cheeky taste of Cerveza there, guys. I think I got it up my nose. Well, we'll let that siphon away, and I'll show you what's left in the bottom of the bucket when it's done. Well, there's just this creamy brown sediment left in the bottom of the bucket now, and what I would do is give the bucket a good clean, scrub it clean, and sterilize it, and sterilize the siphon kit at the same time, and that'll be ready to reuse with another beer kit very soon. Well, having got your beer into your keg, you now need to put the lid on. And what I do with this lid, it's got a very coarse thread on the inside there, goes onto the top of the barrel, and I use a little bit of petroleum jelly or Vaseline, just a little bit smeared around the inside of that thread, or you can indeed put it on the outside of the keg if you wish, and pop your lid on and do it up and tweak it up really tight. You want that really tight. You don't want any pressure lost through the thread of this. Now the Vaseline or the petroleum jelly will help seal it a little bit, but you need to turn this on until it's nice and tight. And that's it. That keg is now ready to go into the pub on its little platform, and we'll leave it there for 7 to 10 days and it'll be ready for drinking. Well, there you have it. 40 pints of Cerveza beer in a keg on the shelf in the pub under the stairs. What more would a boy want? So, if you've got any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. I'm always up to comments, questions, even requests. I'm sure we can accommodate something if you wanted something specific discussed or shown on the channel. But the beer's in, it's in the keg, it's on the shelf, and looking forward to trying this in about a week's time. And if I get the chance, I'll bring you along with me and show you what it's like when it comes out the tap. Well, look, whatever you're doing, you look after yourselves, you be safe, you be happy, look after one another. Come back and see us soon, we're pleased to have you here. Don't forget to subscribe. Which way round is it? It'll be that side in the corner. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell, all those things. And we'll see you next time in the Life's Good, in the pub under the stairs. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.